Okay, so we're here with Todd Shea, Zia Group Realtor Partner and Santa Barbara Association of Realtors, El Presidente, the president himself. Todd, thanks for joining us today.
Yep, sounds good. That sounds good.
It does. The title's great. So I want to just ask you some questions today, Todd.
Yeah,
you have had such a diverse background, and now you are very well experienced in the real estate sales profession. There's a lot of people who have no idea how to get into real estate and what it entails to be successful, have no idea about what the Santa Barbara Association of Realtors does in Santa Barbara. So why don't you just start us out and just tell us a little bit about how did you get into real estate sales?
Perfect. Getting in and staying in is the key.
Two different things.
But yeah, getting in for me, we moved to Santa Barbara. I went to City College here a couple years ago, way back in the days, actually. That time flies. But we moved back here to Santa Barbara. My wife is from the area, and so it was really nice to get back here. And getting back here, I got an opportunity to use what I've learned in the past through some sales expertise and some other jobs that I've had, and just kind of put it all together. Talking to my brother, who's a really great business owner as well. What should I do? What can I can do anything now, which is a really neat thing to do at around 40 years old, is to kind of see what you want to do. I didn't want to waste all that experience, and so I wanted to do something in sales. I enjoy it. I enjoy the freedom of it, and I enjoy the kind of the no cap or no ceiling of what you can do. And so he said, go sell the most expensive thing you can, which in Santa Barbara is Santa Barbara real estate. So it was either luxury cars or Santa Barbara real estate, and the real estate really called to me. I'm an artistic kind of visual person, and so I like the creative marketing side of it that I can also do with the sales side of it, customer service side. So there's a lot of hats that I can wear in real estate that I feel that I do well in. And then I also like the collaboration side. So for me, it was okay, I can use my entrepreneurial spirit, I can use my sales background, I can use my previous job history, and I can kind of, did sales for a remodeling company, so I had a little contractor background, and so all of that just really fit well to real estate. So
that's phenomenal. And so you've got construction, you got sales, you got customer service, you got a little bit of everything kind of thrown in there. Do you like the diversity of real estate sales? I mean, because it seems like we do a little bit of all that, right? Yeah,
it's a little bit of everything, and I feel like I can really help my clients out more than just someone that has never done any of those before, or there's a little pieces that I can draw on that previous history that really helps. It gives me confidence to talk through those things, and while you don't have to have those, I just think it's a good benefit to the people that do work with me. And it's everyone asks you how are you different, or how what's your elevator speech, or all those things, and hard to put those into words, but I feel like those are some little things that I can kind of draw on to help my clients. So
that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So if I was a potential client and I was interviewing multiple Santa Barbara realtors, and I asked you that question, I said, "Hey Todd, there's 1,600 of you in Santa Barbara. Why you other than the other 1,599? How would you answer that?"
Yeah, great question. And I think the biggest thing for me is I feel that while everyone cares about their clients, everyone will go that extra mile. I really enjoy working. I really enjoy this job. And so while some people, I think, out of those 1,600 agents, you have a lot of them that maybe don't do it full time or aren't around a lot of transactions. Luckily, being on the Zia Group, I get to see a lot of transactions. And so for me, I'm on the cutting edge of not only what's happening exactly in the market, what's happening transactional by transactional, which in this market changes a lot. And being in the positions that I've held in the Association of Realtors and just networking with other agents, I feel like in the community, I've done a good job of building myself up. And where some people miss that opportunity to network with other agents, I think it's super important. And I've put a lot of intentional time into it, and I think that's paid off in the fact that I can get deals done that maybe other people don't have those connections to get those deals done. It's funny, being a nice guy, it goes a long way, but being a nice guy, but also caring about others, collaborating with others, reaching out to other people in a truthful and honest way, not a nice not a nice guy in a weird way. I don't know how to say it, but just I have a lot of really good connections in town, and I think that really helps me and my clients be successful. So my elevator pitch, 30 seconds to put all that back into one little piece would be, yeah, I mean, I've worked really hard to establish myself in a big sea of agents here.
Yeah.
And those agents all would want to do business with me and therefore want to do business with you. And I think that really goes a long way. Add to that the fact that I really enjoy the marketing, a very visual person.
Yeah.
So like I really love like to get behind a property and sell that property, and like I really enjoy the process of the marketing, which goes a long way for, everything's online nowadays and digital. And then there's contracting backgrounds, and then throw on top of that the horsepower of my team that provides like that extra level of like professionalism and things that you can't get at being a solo agent that's trying to wear all those 15 different hats.
Yeah.
I have like professionals that assist me
Yes.
in like assisting my clients to make them be successful. So
I
team
love
plays
that.
a big part of it too.
You've mentioned so many amazing things in there. I just want to pull out a few of those.
Yeah.
So I love that you mentioned like being a nice guy is important, because the reality is the reason why we still have a real estate profession at all, why real estate agents or realtors still exist, and it's not all just based on an online transaction with a service like Zillow or something, it's a relationship business. It always has been, and frankly it always will be fueled by technology, will be fueled by all-star marketing and a team, will be fueled by AI coming more and more into the coming years.
Absolutely.
But at the core, it's always a relationship business, right?
It is, and it's nice guy, but it's also not lay down. I'm not saying I'm a lay
no,
down.
no, yeah.
So it's a nice guy, but I do have an edge that I think really comes into play, and I will push, and I will make things happen and get things done. You can't just be like the nice guy and nothing happens, and it's very bland. Like I'm a nice guy, but I have an edge, and I think that's really important to note.
And in negotiation.
And negotiations.
That's important, right? I mean, you're a true fiduciary for your clients. It's one of the things that I've always loved about you. I mean, frankly, when we first met, it was on the, call it opposite sides of a deal.
Exactly.
I still remember you were representing your buyer and what was in their best interest. I was representing the seller and it was in the seller's best interest. But I could look across the table and I could say, okay, I could see the moves that you were making on behalf of your client, which were the right strategic moves to meet your client's objectives, but you weren't being a bulldog about it, right? You were framing it in a way that still made it look like it was a win-win for my seller. You were maintaining communication with me and relationship with me, and I just walked away from that transaction saying, hey, if there was ever a chance where I could be in business with this gentleman, I had the greatest respect for how you were representing your client. And that was like years ago when you were still newer in the business.
Yeah, and I was still learning a lot there. But I think whether you're doing business here in Santa Barbara or if you're doing business in other areas that are bigger, you might not know the players as much. Like we know a lot of the agents and we know a lot of the people here because it's a little smaller. But if you're in like big cities like LA or San Francisco where you don't really know those people, you can still like be courteous to those people and like come across in a good way and do things for those agents. I kind of learned that from an agent back east in Virginia who's like, man, I'll wash your car for you. He was great at those, like, he really like the agent to agent connection I think is really important. And at the end of the day, ultimately it's the seller and buyer, but like, I think that can go really a long way in like just creating a long-term career out of it, and not burning bridges and those
right? Because when we're listing agents and we've got 6 offers on our property, we're not just looking at what's the purchase price for those 6 offers. We're looking at the price, we're looking at the terms, we're looking at the buyer's qualifications, and then we're looking at the team that's around the buyer, the lender they're working with. Do we have confidence in their lender, the agent they're working with? I know for you and I, sometimes we've actually recommended our clients go with an offer that may not look like the best one, but at the end of the day, we felt more confidence in the team representing that buyer, because at the end of the day, if that escrow doesn't close, you don't get anything. It's just a waste of time and energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just giving your clients the background of who those people are, and again, it's talking through the terms, it's talking through the strategies and a lot of different things, but it's a piece of it all. So yeah, that's really helped. I think networking with agents, my position with the association here, and being on a bigger team really has helped me kind of leverage those things for success. So.
Well, I'd love to talk about both of those. I think this is gold. So let's talk first, before we talk association, because I think that's really important, but let's just talk about your association with Zia Group. When you and I met, you had your own real estate team here in Santa Barbara, right? And a lot of people respected you, and you were building something really significant. Talk to Santa Barbara, like, why did you decide to roll that into Zia Group and to build something bigger?
Yeah, when I was doing that, there's a lot of really good teams out there and a lot of really good agents, and I felt that by joining a team that I'd already was established and I looked up to, and that's kind of like why we even started talking is we first met as like, hey, I want to learn more so I can grow my team. How do you build culture? How do you recruit agents? How do you do those things? Mm-hmm. And then the conversation obviously turned to like, hey, I'm actually interested in that position that you have with an agent, leaving the team. And so, but for me, like, I think that you can really, if you're starting your career as a new agent, you can jump light years ahead of any agent that's starting from their own individual, like as an individual agent, by joining a team, a good team, a high-powered team, a team that does a lot of transactions, a team that has all the processes in place, and it's you get so much support there versus a solo agent, which again, I'm very cross brokerage. I love all brokerages. I am a big proponent of like no brokerage lines, but I do feel that the brokerages really have a hard time doing all of that a high powered team can do, and it's really night and day versus like being on a team like that. If you're the new agent, 1 to 3 years old, just starting by yourself is really challenging. And I was doing a lot of things, but I wasn't doing the right things, and I like couldn't wait to do a logo and branding and get my website and do all these things, and I wasn't even lead genning the 2 hours a day and that I should be doing, and just it's hard to have the direction without that kind of support. So that's why I call it horsepower. I'm in the horsepower of a team to start, and then now that I'm in my business and I know what I'm doing, it provides me some stability through up and down times, market shifting all the time, and also provides me the ability to do what I want to do with my life and have like more of a work-life balance, while still creating the life that I want in real estate, and that is all provided by the team and the support that it gives you and things like that. So for me, it's I call it horsepower, but being a solo agent has a lot of great benefits, but I feel like it just kind of levels you up and a lot faster. I'm in my 6th year of real estate this year, but I've reached goals that I felt like I probably would just be getting to now, and I reached those 4 years ago. So
jump started.
Yeah,
that's phenomenal. And then what do you think? What do you think is better for the client or the consumer?
Yeah,
working with a solo agent, working for a team.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really good solo agents out there, and they do a really nice job of what they're doing, but I feel like they're just probably working a lot harder to do that. And while they are, I mean, again, you can do that as a solo agent, but I have people that are supporting me in a listing role, and while I'm doing that listing, I'm also doing multiple buyers, and I'm working with a transaction coordinator that's in-house, which is, all transaction coordinators are amazing, but one in-house that I can call on their cell phone at any time is like next level, and has my back, and we know each other. I mean, it's a lot different. The marketing is being done for me, and all of these things that solo agent would have to do, I think really helps.
100%.
Yeah, helps that. So
yeah, and trying to be an expert in all those different areas.
Right, exactly.
Right?
I think that's the biggest thing. It's hard and almost impossible to do. Not to mention like the collaboration. I'm a huge fan of collaboration. Again, like cross brokerages or in the team, and hearing what this person's doing that's successful, and you'll get that in brokerages, but it's not quite the same sharing that you would get as you have on a team. The motivation, the accountability, I mean, there's a lot of things that come into play there that I feel are super important when you're looking at that.
Yeah. So. And I remember being a part of 2 kind of larger brokerages, still what I consider kind of a single agent. And I remember there is a lot of brokerages really work to foster what we would consider like collaboration. But I think the inherent model makes true collaboration very challenging from a brokerage level, because the reality is, yes, you're collaborating, but you don't really have any real vested interest when someone else on the team, or not the team, in the brokerage succeeds, right? So you're excited for them, but at the end of the day, you're like, oh, I wish that was me. And there's very little, co-representation or working together or sharing best business practices.
Yeah, you just don't get as close. Like we always have speakers, and I coordinate a lot of speakers for our education committee or MLS committees. and everyone's like going to those because they want the secret sauce. Or you go to your brokerage's, yearly event, right? And everyone's there to like get like the thing, right? But there's so many times that I go to those and I'm very let down because no one wants to share that. And it's because you are in, it's hard. Certain people will, and that's what makes them great speakers. And I feel like just being open like that's so good, but a lot of people won't. And being in a brokerage like that, I feel like you, as a solo agent, you don't really get the real stuff or just the time spent. I mean, people are busy and they just don't have time. Whereas on a team, there's just like a little bit better of a culture there. So.
And you mentioned something, Todd, that I've always respected about you. I feel like when you speak, like you really have. Someone just gave you this compliment, by the way, that you really have this like heart of an educator. Nice. Like when you are teaching, one, you have a gift for it, but it also seems like you have an interest and a passion for it. And I just feel like that just almost is like a thread through almost everything you do, right? Yeah. Whether you're coaching girls volleyball, or you're working at the Association of Realtors, or you're educating a first-time home buyer on something about the transaction, what they should do. Like there isn't this like pressure of, oh no, just do this because it's the right move.
Right.
Like you take the time to like educate them. They don't feel stupid. They feel like they are, like they just went to the next level because you took that extra time, and you never make them feel like rushed or pressured. I just thought that's just one of your giftings for sure.
Thanks. I mean, you are a master wordsmith, so it's nice to do some modeling, right? Yeah. But I feel like learning from you and some other people on the team, and then just other agents in town, I feel like you can always come across in a really good way, and no matter the situation. I hear and I listen to other people, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I can't believe that's being said like that. And it's not what they're saying, it's just how they're saying it. And I think it's really important to like just practice and come from a really good place all the time. And if you do that, for the most part, I think you're going to come across in a good way. And people get frustrated and the business gets quick. I mean, doing this right now, I'm thinking of all the things I need to be doing, right? And I think it's just like, being intentional with the people that you're with and really caring about them and understanding their situation, coming from that kind of like conversation, and keeping yourself out of it. I learned that a while ago. Like I was on a showing, and we're looking at this property, and I'm like, oh, I would change that, right? Just helping, just trying to help the conversation, just kind of like dialogue. And she's like, you're not the one buying this. And I said, you know what, you're 100% correct. Like, I'm not. And from there forward, I really think before I say something, because it really isn't me. It's not my personality or my things that I have going on in my life should not reflect on what they're doing. And my busyness or my feeling of like pressure shouldn't reflect on what they're doing. And you really have to like get into like what's best for them.
It's huge.
The client or anyone, honestly. But
I love that. I feel like a lot of agents make that mistake when they first get into the business, and you can still see really experienced agents that still do this. They make a lot of statements rather than ask questions. Right.
Absolutely.
Because our goal is really to help a client self-discover. Hey, do you like this kitchen? Do you like this chartreuse accent wall? Right. Because we're not going to live there, and each of our definition of home is very different. What we all like.
I change so much on what I say all the time with those things, and really just be neutral, and ask the questions like, oh, what would you do with this kitchen, instead of like, I would rip this all out. You could rip this all out. And they're like, no, we really love this, and we're going to live like this. And it's like, you don't want to get yourself into that on that, the other side of the fence with your client. You want to always be on their side. And so good lessons learned.
I love the retro avocado green tile. I would never touch that in a million years.
Perfect.
Yes. It sounds like it's great.
And you don't have to be like, I love it too. You just be like, okay,
that's right.
Yeah.
I learned something new about you. That's phenomenal.
Exactly. Yeah.
Tell me more.
Right. Exactly.
Well, let's segue, because you mentioned the Association of Realtors a few times, and I just have so much respect and admiration for you. Like you're such a busy professional. You've got a family. You're a busy professional. You're a volleyball coach. You've got this great kind of counterbalanced personal life with surfing and traveling and everything that you do and everything you do for your clients. But amidst all of that, you've taken time the last few years to volunteer at the Santa Barbara Association of Realtors. And a lot of consumers have no idea what that association is. Frankly, a lot of agents don't know what that association is. Can you just talk a little bit about, like, how did you start your journey there? What is the Association of Realtors? Why does it exist?
Yeah, I think it started kind of in the same thing where I talked about, like, networking with other agents. You know, when I first started, there are a lot of agents in towns, 1,300 in MLS, and I think 1,600 subscribers. There's a lot of people doing real estate, and I wanted people to know who I was, and so, you know, I wanted to give back and be a part of the profession that I work in. And not just kind of like work in it and not be a part of it, right? And so, you know, I wanted to read a lot about it. I wanted to be a part about it. I wanted to, like, it's a career. Like, I wanted to do everything that I could to be a part in the profession. And so that was a part of it. And so I joined a committee and I reached out and I started on, I think, education committee. It was planning events. And then there I met 12 agents right away. I was surrounded by people that I had just seen because this is my first year. I was like, I see all their signs everywhere. They're doing business, right? They're good agents, right? And so I just listening and learning, and then people knew me, and then I joined another committee, and I just I really enjoyed that part. And so my trajectory was really just trying to be a part of it and have people know me. And now I'm at a place where, you know, I was asked to be the president. And so last year I was president-elect. This year I'm the president of the Association of Realtors, and I am able to continue to, like, grow the association, create events and educational opportunities for our members, and then also be a part of now even things that are bigger than that, which is traveling for CAR, which is California Association of Realtors, and National Association of Realtors. And next year I'll be a director, which is a voting member. So these are like laws that are being put into place, and how, you know, at a national level, we're one of the biggest and largest nonprofit, or not nonprofits, but like associations in the country. And so we have a lot of power. And so I can vote now and be a part of that. And, like, I've seen, what really got me into that was I traveled for a president-elect 2 years ago, and to see this massive thing that all the realtors are talking about, right, in towns, like the rumor, like, what's happening? I heard this is coming down the pipeline. And to go and, like, vote on that is really crazy. And to hear the discussions at that high level and be around those people, it was very impactful for me. And I saw that it can actually make change. Like, there was something that was happening. We as an association voted to go against it. Our lobbyists went against it, and it stopped. And that was like, wow, okay, that's really crazy that I can be a part of that. And so now, you know, moving forward, I'll be a past president next year, which is a little bit less requirements, but I've asked to be nominated as a director, and people voted for me, and I'm one of, I think, 3 directors that we have next year that will be representing our association at California and a national level. So I'm really excited about that. So
that's incredible.
It's cool.
And we're most of the way through the year now.
Yeah,
like, when you look back on, like, what you've done as president-elect and president, like, what are some initiatives that, like, you feel proud about? I mean, all this time that you volunteered.
I have to give, like, a end of the presidency speech. I'm trying to put, like, notes together of, like, what I've done and what I've accomplished. But the biggest things for me, I feel like, is I love that we're doing more video content, and we're being more visible with our agents. That's been a long time coming. I feel like in our newsletters and just, like, just being out there for our people and our association. I've really enjoyed writing the kind of weekly president's reports and president's kind of thoughts in the Santa Barbara Independent and the News Hawk. Those have been really fun. I've gotten great feedback on those. I've gotten some really interesting feedback on those. You put something out to the public, you're going to get a lot of different responses. Right? So that's been very cool. And I think just kind of, like, bringing our members together. We had our first ever cross brokerage lawn bowling event, which is coming up here when this airs. Maybe already done, but that's going to be really cool. And just making sure that our members are on top of everything. They know what's happening. Our government affairs director is amazing. Our staff at the association is really great. I was able to be a part of hiring our new CEO, basically, of the association this year. Our last one left after 10 years, and hopefully this one will be here for 10 years plus, and Brian's doing a great job so far. So it's just cool to be behind the scenes and also in front of the scenes, and just like a full, fully immerse myself in like the profession. And forever I'll be a past president of the association, and there haven't been that many, so it's been.
Do you have
really
like a
good
security
year.
detail that follows you around,
exactly.
like the past presidents of the U.S.?
I should have like VIP parking somewhere, but
something, right?
But no, it's the other people that have been president, and I've been able to like talk with them and like meet with them more and learn more about them, I really look up to, and so just being one of those is really cool for me. So
that's huge.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for all you've done. That's really exciting.
It's fun. It's been
Is
a good
there
busy year?
Is there anything on the radar for the rest of the year that's still like, oh, I want to do this last thing, or just more of the same kind of tried and true?
Yeah, for me, behind the scenes, there has never been, and this is maybe from our team and just kind of our processes that I feel like are so important, is put together a leadership playbook. So we've never had a process or guidelines for new leadership coming in. And when I got there, I'm like, why don't, every year, it happens every year, right? So why don't we have like this guidebook? So it's in its final stages. By the end of the year, we'll have like a finished copy. The staff's been working with me to do that, but that was one of my big pushes this year, and I'm excited to get like the final copy of that out. So we're gonna have a leadership playbook for anyone coming into committees or leadership or directors or anything like that. At least you have like kind of a 10,000 foot view of what it looks like and what your responsibilities are and how you can continue to move up. So I hope that gets done. I hope that continues and like a legacy for me, that everyone can use it from now on.
There you go.
And add to it and make it better. And then just do more things with cross brokerages, more things to bring our community together. And then, there's going to be some legal things that are happening. We're kind of getting into the time these last few months where laws start to pass, things come into play that the lawmakers have been working on for the first part of the year. And so there's some big things coming down the pipeline that we're either going to oppose or we're going to support, and I think that that's going to be a kind of a big push at the end of the year for us. So
that's phenomenal.
Yeah, good.
And then how are you feeling about, I know there's a lot of uncertainty about just next year, take association out of it, just kind of like bigger picture, what are you thinking about real estate 2023? What are you thinking about our profession? Open mic chance to...
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited about it. I'm never one that like looks at the year and worries about it. We set a lot of goals here. I love setting goals and kind of daily affirmations and like all those things that surround it, meditation, and like I really a big fan of that. So that kind of keeps me grounded. I mean, this year has been really interesting for me from a sales standpoint, and but now, I mean, I just similar to last year, I had this massive influx of business here at the end, and I'm really excited about that. So I think the message is like, just stay consistent, stay in the game, don't get out, better yourself. Like I've taken this time to do a lot of things that I've wanted to do on for myself, like from my marketing or like longer term projects, or working with my virtual assistant to like get her into some things that she can help me like boost my business. And so but you just kind of keep going and keep doing it. And it's like, it's funny because my dad's a doctor. He's been on this W-2 forever, and it gets great. He's retired now, but great paychecks, right? And I think he still doesn't know if I'm gonna make it or not, right, in this business. And I'm like, Dad, I'm gonna make it, man. I'm like, it's been good.
Do you not know I'm a top producing agent?
It's been a great couple of years, and it's gonna continue. And it does get scary. I mean, there's been a lot of things that I've had to kind of push through over the years, but you just have to stay in it. You have to stay consistent. You got to surround yourself with good people, and you got to believe in yourself and have confidence that by doing that and doing those things today, it's going to pay off in the future. I think that's the biggest thing for me, and luckily it's worked out, and sometimes I'm like, is this going to work out? But like, you just got to have confidence that it is, and you got to work hard and make it happen, and it'll all pay off.
And you've always done just a phenomenal job with that, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that, it's such an interesting profession, because like literally we wake up every day and we focus on taking care of our clients. And we have no idea when the paychecks are going to come. And sometimes they're far apart and sometimes they're close together. But at the end of the day, it's all just about what's best for the client.
It is.
And I just have always respected that about you.
You have to like the process. You have to like the work part of it. I really love the work part of it. And the byproduct is happy clients and happy happy life for myself and my family and everything like that. But yeah, you have to like the day to day, right? And I think that's true with any job, because you can't just be living for that, paycheck, or the sale, or the end result, or getting your clients that thing, because it could take 10 offers or one offer. But I mean, you have to really like fall in love with the process, and fall in love with like the lifestyle, and know that that's what it is, and you enjoy it, and it's going to pay off for you if you keep going.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And then for all of the agents watching, community members watching, that want to pick your brain about real estate or what the market's going to do, like, what's the best way for them to reach out and get a hold of you?
Yeah, I love it. So I'm hopefully everywhere. I mean, I've been working, there's a Todd Shea that's a musician, and I've been slowly beating that guy out. So if you Google me, I'm definitely...
So you're not a musician.
I'm near the top now, but not the musician one. So I'm there, but Todd Shea Realtor at Instagram is probably a really good space for me.
Great.
I recently used a great service that kind of rebrands and coordinates everything across all channels.
Nice.
So that was a really cool thing that I did this year in this little extra time that I've had between deals. So that was a fun one. So I should be pretty much everywhere, and with a really good cohesive look. So,
nice.
But yeah, Todd Shea Realtor, or Google me for sure. And then reach out. I'd love to talk with you. I'm a huge collaborator, and open for any and all questions.
Todd, you are amazing. So just
Thanks.
as one professional to another, I just wanted to say a big thank you. You've made such a sacrifice the last few years, not only for your clients, but for our entire profession here in Santa Barbara, and really blessed our entire Santa Barbara community. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Reach out to Todd if you have any questions. He is a huge collaborator, and I'm sure he'd love to get to know you and see how he can help.
Thanks, Sam.
Okay?
All right, thank you.